Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mike's Garage. Well, I tell you what, I really enjoy the videos about the basic training, and I'm getting a lot of nice comments on that. I'd like to give a shout out to some people. Bobby Addington, appreciate you. Like your comments. Keep tuning in if that's whatever you say here, and give me some comments, guys. John Tompkins, always good to hear from you, John. Douglas Carr. Thank you for your service, your family. My dad was in the World War II, and I forget what he was. He was ammunition expert or something like that. So he's transporting artillery shells and ammo, things like that. Ryan Harris, again, always could depend on getting a nice comment from you. Appreciate it. Noy Hudson, thanks for being a subscriber. Charlie Porch, once again, keep those comments coming. I love reading them, and I do try to reply to everybody. Okay, just keep it respectful. It's a kind of a community thing we're trying to do here. Let's hear from everybody. Samsung Johnson, appreciate you being a subscriber. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your comments. Let's go back to Fort Benning. Fort Bragg, North Carolina. That's where the basic training was. What they did, and here's a picture here of the M1 rifle. Now that thing was a heavy piece of wood, and when you put the ammo on it, it weighed even more, and that's what you had to carry around everywhere. Okay, you got it in the morning, you carried it to breakfast, lunch, dinner. You had your canteen, your pack, your bayonet. You had it all with you. Your utility belt, and so that was what you did. Now, to get trained on that, okay, they had a couple different ways they did it. First, they took you to a 25-meter range. That's a little shy of 25 yards, okay? So you go to the range, and you have a target downrange, and you have to zero in your sights on that weapon, because everybody's supposed to set the weapon sights according to their likes or dislikes. Some people have wider faces, and when you lean your cheek on the butt, it changes it. So it's very difficult just to pick up somebody else's weapon and shoot a distance with it. So we got the M1s. We had to zero the M1s. So you went to the 25-meter range. You set up a number of targets down there, and you took a few shots, and you went down and you saw what it was, and the instructor would tell you, you're too far left, you're too far right, or you missed the target altogether. There were a couple guys there from, the mountains, the squirrel hunters. Dad always had a 22 since they were little. Really didn't have any guns in my house. My dad had a shotgun. I knew where it was. He didn't have any shells in the house, so I didn't really have any experience with guns until I got in the military. And a weapon. I'm sorry, you weren't allowed to call it a gun. So the weapons we used first was the M1s. We trained on that. We carried that everywhere for weeks and weeks and weeks. You did your training with it. Next, they set you down with a 60 caliber machine gun. They showed you how to take it apart, how to maintain it. That came with an extra barrel because it used to get so hot after you put a couple cans of ammo through it. You had to change the barrel on the weapon. Now, I remember there was like a real heavy asbestos cloth that was also in the pouch with the new barrel. So you would unlock the old barrel, pull that out, set it aside to let it cool off, put the cold barrel in, reload your band of ammo, and just start fighting again. Now, the guys with the machine guns always had two guys with them, and they were to carry ammo. When you had the 60 caliber machine gun, unfortunately, I was a bigger guy. I was 6'2", about 190 pounds. So I was the guy that carried the machine gun. You had a bandolier of ammo in the gun, and you had a spare bandolier with you, and each guy on each side, you had at least one can of ammo, and they were the belts that you feed in. You lift up the breech on the machine gun, slap it back down, and you were the guy that you used to protect because you could lay down the most firepower. So on patrols, it was interesting on the patrols. The first and last guys in the patrols had shotguns because they said they were the first guy going to be in close contact with any kind of a hostile force. And they were just to lay down fire and back up if they ran into trouble there. Okay, same thing with the guys at the back of the patrol. Now, you didn't walk in a group, okay? You spread out. Everybody was about 10 feet apart, and everybody was observant. There were hand signals that they told you about. Hold up, go over there. You two go this way. You two go that way. And there was always somebody in charge of how you would disperse, okay? And I'll go into what do you do if you're got an ambush or something like that. With some training on that. It was pretty cool. So anyway, back to the rifle. I'm sorry, I ramble on and on. I can't help myself. So the M1, you carried that around everywhere. You got to use the 60 caliber machine gun, which was the same one you used in Vietnam. I guess I don't know how old it was, whether they used it in World War II or not. But it was a very dependable weapon. And then they, right before we graduated the basic training, they gave you the we got an AK-47 first. Okay. So we spent the morning loading and firing an AK-47, which was pretty nice. It was a pretty nice rifle. Much better than the M1, because the M1 was a ton. It weighed a tank, man. It was like hold a 2x4 with a piece of metal strapped on it. The AK-47 was lighter, was pretty accurate. It was heavy when you put the ammo in because they had bigger clips. They had the bigger banana clips, where the M1 only had like a 10-round clip. Then they gave you the M16, which was a step above all of them. And that's what they wanted you to see. They wanted you to see that you had the best weapon that was out there. The M16 really could use the same ammo as the AK-47. The ammo was kind of interchangeable, I think. And, or it was that the M16 ammo could be used in the AK-47, but you couldn't do it in the reverse. Anyway. So you got used to that with the M16. Was actually, some guys were joking, it should say Mattel on it because it was so light and it didn't feel like it was real. But it could really lay down some firepower. It was really a deadly weapon. And the tip was like a 22 caliber tip on the bullet. And it had so much firepower behind it that when it hit something, the tip would actually spin and roll and just rip somebody apart. So it was a very, very deadly weapon. So, you were taught to shoot to kill. I mean, you weren't trying to wound anybody. You were trying to take them out of the fight altogether. And that was also part of the training, some of the areas where you would shoot to take somebody out of the training. Also got to use the bayonet. The bayonet was pretty much for the M1. Don't remember having a bayonet for the M16. You could have a bayonet if you wanted it. They had them at the stock room, the supply room. Nobody really took them. Everybody wanted a 45. But, the M16 was the weapon of choice at that point. We did a lot of training with that. We did a lot of training with the bayonet, with the M1, and we got to carry that through the obstacle course, which is another video altogether. That was crazy, the shooting bullets over your head. But they did a good job. I'd have to say by the time I left there, I was confident that I could take the weapon apart, I could repair it, I could maintain it, I could oil it. There was some problems with the M16s, the early M16s. If you didn't keep them clean, they would jam. And that was a problem because you had to tear it down after so many clips and clean it because there was a lot of residue that would get into the mechanism. And so we did have a little bit of a problem with that. But other than that, it was a pretty good weapon. I'm glad I didn't have to use it too much. So we had a good time with that. I hope that's entertaining. Just some of the things I think of that we went through. I think they did a good job, the drill sergeants there. My hat's off to them. And Veterans Day is coming up. So all of you who have served and given service, whether it's in the military or any kind of a first responder, I salute you because it's very important to have people out there that will try and maintain and especially the police, try and maintain the laws and keep us safe and do the right thing. Okay? Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for watching Mike's Garage. Please subscribe. Could always use more subscribers. And we'll see you next time. Everybody be safe.